Don't you wish you could flip a switch and stop loving someone? Unfortunately, it's not that easy. But stick around and I'll tell you what you need to do right now to get over him and get on with your life. Hi, I'm Amy North, author of The Devotion System in Text Chemistry. I offer simple dating advice to women that's backed by research and science. If that sounds like something you could use, please hit the subscribe button right now. Let's get into it. First, it doesn't matter if you were in a relationship with this guy, only knew him as a friend, or barely knew him at all. If you love someone and they don't love you back, it hurts. It can feel like your heart is being ripped out of your chest. You wish there was something you could do to make him change their mind, but at the end of the day, it's often impossible. And that's going to be our first step. Accept it. You need to accept that whatever you had or might have had or never had a chance to have is over. You must kill that little voice in your head that says, maybe someday if things are different, or maybe he'll come to his senses and come running back to me. I'm not saying that there's no chance that someday you two could be together. The truth is, I don't know your situation. Maybe you two are soulmates and you'll realize that 5 years down the road. But what I'm saying is, if you want to move on, to stop loving this guy and start living for the future instead of the past, then you need to accept that it's over once and for all. Because it doesn't matter if you hold out hope or not. That won't affect the outcome one way or another. So try your best to make your peace and let him go. That being said, if you're bound and determined to get your ex back, then I know someone who can help. Brad Browning. Brad has been the #1 ex-back expert on YouTube for a long time now. His X Factor guide has helped tens of thousands of people find love again with their ex. Go to breakupbrad.com right now to learn more and watch his free video presentation. I honestly feel that sometimes it takes trying to get your ex back, giving it one last try, to really accept that it's over. So if you're wondering whether or not you still have a shot, I'd recommend you check out his free video presentation over at breakupbrad.com. Once you've done that, you'll be ready to begin the process in earnest, which brings us to step 2. Get some distance. Unfortunately, you can't just wish these feelings away. It takes time and distance to truly get over another person. This means that you're going to need to get him out of your life. Stop talking to him, sleeping with him, and whatever you do, don't try to be friends with him. There are situations where this kind of complete separation is impossible. Maybe you have mutual friends, work together, or are forced to spend time with one another for whatever reason. If you're in this situation, then just focus on limiting your time together as much as you can. I'd also recommend that you put together a timeline for getting over this person. While it's going to be different day to day, if you're someone who thrives on structure, it can be helpful to have a rough outline of how much time you'll allow yourself to wallow in sadness, how much time you want to stay single, and roughly when you want to get back into dating. For some people, having that blueprint of the process can be beneficial when you're trying to stop loving someone. And speaking of that timeline, our third step is one that many people neglect when they're trying to stop loving someone. Allow yourself a mourning period. Many people struggle to get over an ex because they don't let themselves really grieve the relationship. While making strides to move on is important at a certain point, first, you need to let yourself really feel the negative feelings associated with the breakup, or they'll come out in other ways down the line. What this looks like depends on you. You can talk about your breakup, write about what went wrong. Even just watching a sad movie and letting yourself cry can be a cathartic experience that will help you face some of the painful feelings you've been holding back. If you're feeling well and truly stuck, it might take some more extreme measures to allow you to really feel those feelings. I always recommend talk therapy if you're struggling. It can also be helpful to slow down and spend a few days alone, if you can manage it. Or if you're someone who thrives on social interaction, go visit your family. I also recommend keeping a record of your feelings. In this case, journaling can be hugely beneficial to your mental health because it will allow you to see how your mental state has changed since the breakup. And speaking of change, that leads me to the 4th step. Make a change. Whether it means dating someone new, trying a new hobby, or moving across the country. If you want things to change, you need to make change. Don't expect things to go back to how they were before the two of you met. The truth is that this person changed your life, hopefully for the better, and now there's no going back to the way things were. With that in mind, pick something you've always wanted to do and take the first steps in that direction. I know you're hurting right now. I know you'd rather curl up in bed with a pint of ice cream, but trust me when I say that won't help anything. You don't need to do it all at once, But just the awareness that you're moving in the right direction can be extremely beneficial to your state of mind. Your state of mind is also the key to our fifth and final step. Look deeper at what's really bothering you. I find that when people are having trouble putting out that old flame, getting over a breakup, or moving on from someone they thought was their soulmate, it's often the case that what they're really upset about is something else entirely. With that in mind, let's look at your feelings around the breakup that may be keeping you stuck in place. As women, we often have our self-esteem tied up in relationships. So, when a guy leaves us, while we're upset about losing the relationship, it brings up other issues like our desirability, whether or not we're capable of a happy relationship, the dread of starting all over again, and that ever-present biological clock. Remember that the fact that your relationship did not work is not an indictment of you or your worth. I find that many people who get stuck on one person do so because they're not happy in their life, and they're counting on a relationship to save them. If that sounds like you need to make a change in your life. True happiness comes from within. In the end, remember that it takes two to create something that lasts, and if they weren't willing to make it work, it's as much their fault as it is yours. In any case, laying blame rarely helps in situations like this. You need to practice compassion towards him, and more importantly, towards yourself. Treat yourself the way you would a good friend who is going through something similar. You wouldn't question their motives and tell them that it was their fault that they can't stop loving this other person, would you? So don't do that to yourself. If you're hoping to get over him by getting under someone else, I can help you there. Go to CoachNorth.com right now and check out my free video presentation. In that video, I uncover the secret that makes men fall in love and how you can harness it for yourself to make any man yours. That's CoachNorth.com. Thanks for watching. I'm Amy North, and I'll see you in my next video.